Welcome, infinite beings. Welcome back to the Infinite Me, where every day we're talking about living an infinite life and what that looks like. And we talk about you don't have to ascend to your powers, you don't have to awaken to them. You've already got them, or just maybe forgotten them, or haven't known how to use them. So we talk about everything to do with that and playing with it all, and how we can feel more free in life, I guess. So each day we are chatting about a topic in the moment. So they're always just free flow conversations of whatever's coming to us around the topic that we pick out of our little lucky dip bag that we don't even know what the topic's going to be when we go live. So I am Mandy, and over there is Nat. And we are sisters, and yes, so we've been on the awakening journey for probably about 15 years, I guess. So we love having all these type of conversations. So each day we never know where it's going to go. And so yesterday we talked about the importance of play and how moving into that space of unlimitedness, if you like, and more creativity and potential that opens up when we let ourselves not be so serious about life and see what opens up all around that. And we talked about the importance of boundaries that can also help with play as well. Actually, it actually enhances sometimes the creativity. So it was an interesting conversation yesterday. So today, we pull a topic out of our little infinite lucky dip bag. So she'll do that now, and we'll find out what today's topic is.
Very cool. So while you're doing that, I just want to say hi to Vicky, who's in the house with us.
Oh, hello.
11:20 there, so it's
it's a bit late.
New Zealand time. So she's going to watch the replay. She doesn't get all of it.
Yes,
hi.
Okay. All right.
All right, power of orange.
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 Oh, okay. Law of attraction.
Ooh, we put that one in yesterday, so it's popped back
I think
out.
we did it too, yes. We can see it. Interesting.
Very cool. So, law of attraction, big topic many years ago after The Secret came out. And I guess The Secret was good as a movie because it really did awaken a lot of people that probably weren't even on the journey at that stage and not questioning really much about their life, just sort of cruising through life, and suddenly went, oh, actually there is something more to it. Okay, that's really cool.
Yeah.
And so it sort of started them on the journey, which was good. So it was sort of almost a really important movie. I think I was staggered about how many people got on the bandwagon of The Secret, and Oprah got behind it, so that sort of does help a little. But yeah, just the movement that went with that was actually really quite staggering to sit back and just go, wow, like how many people are actually getting into this movie right now?
Yes.
But that movie was all about the law of attraction. So it's sort of an interesting conversation. Then there was like spin-off Facebook groups and pages and people getting together, and just so many different conversations that happened around the law of attraction. So yeah, it was interesting, the different takes on it. And I guess that's what this topic was to talk about, sort of thing, is like, does the law of attraction actually hold true? Is it a universal principle? And how do we interpret that from the infinite space?
Yeah. I mean, I think my take on it would be that it is a universal law, but it wasn't the whole story, The Secret, if you like. Like it's like a universal law, but there's other universal laws that are in play as well. So it's kind of everyone sort of jumped on that bandwagon of, which is pretty much what The Secret was proposing, in my opinion, where you pretty much just have to visualize something, like the whole thing of like vision boards came into it too, which we did a talk on that a couple of days ago. But that idea of I just have to sit here in my lounge room and just visualize a red Ferrari, and if I just do it long enough, then it's going to show up in my driveway. And it was almost like there does need to be no action or alignment or I don't know, it kind of came off to me as a bit like just wishful thinking. Like if you think about something for long enough, then it will happen. It's like, well, that can, that definitely can happen in the universe. But the thing is that our egos just get totally in the way of that. And there's things that get in the way of that alignment, if you like. And so it's not as easy, if you like, as it's kind of made out to be, or it is easy, but we get attached to the outcomes of things as well, I think. So the ego plays a big part, I think, in how the law of attraction actually works, if you like, in reality.
Hi to Sharon too, who's just joined us from.
Hello.
I'm not sure where you are right now. You've got to move, I think. Yeah, definitely. I think the thing that got me with the whole law of attraction thing was that you'll only bring into your existence things that are actually true for you on your journey. So if a Ferrari is not true for you, you're not going to get Ferrari.
Won't come in, true.
So,
yeah.
Which is probably a good thing, that there is some overarching power that be type thing. We're calling it the infinite, that sort of is actually at the helm, sort of going, no, you actually don't want one of those. Like, so we are always getting what's true for us. So that's probably a good thing. But yeah, I think, because this came up the other day when we were talking about vision boards, and our whole thing that we talked about with vision boards is that there seems to be some sort of degree of separation. So you put something up on a vision board, it's out there, you're over here, and somehow you've got to make this bridge to get to it type thing. And the secret and the law of attraction, traditional teachings, has been saying, well, if you think about it enough and you keep looking at your board, then suddenly it will appear in your reality. And it's sort of like, yeah, I do agree that there's definitely more to that whole process. If we look at the fact that reality isn't even real at the end of the day type thing. So I guess the energy of bringing that in, it really, you do have to be aligned with it. You have to be feeling it as well. And I know that the secret was definitely getting to the point of, we'll go down to the Ferrari dealership and actually sit in the Ferrari. That will even make it more powerful for you type thing.
Yes.
Then you've got the whole look and feel of it. Take some photos and, you know, smell the leather and all that sort of stuff. So definitely engaging the senses and things like that. Like, I do think that there is a degree of visualization. Like, if I think about different things that have felt true for me, so travel has definitely felt true for me for a very, very long time. It's sort of like you can almost feel it in your bones. Like, it's not, there isn't a degree of out there type thing. Like, I wasn't really focused on the outside world at that stage. If I really felt about travel, it would play out in the outside world. So I had like big National Geographic maps. I remember you guys buying me a whole bunch of probably Nat Geo and Lonely Planet books on, you know, festivals of the world and people of the world. So it was playing out in reality, definitely. And so I could entertain that idea a lot more by having those things around me and surrounding myself with that, which I think is a very natural thing. Like, if you've got a real passion about something, then you are going to have things around you, and you are out, you know, out there. That actually do reflect that back to you. But it really was just such an internal feeling, like, that whole time. Like, there was just a knowing that I was going to travel. I didn't, like, my interpretation of that, and I've talked about this before, my interpretation of it was that I might have holiday homes all over the world. I had no idea how I was going to do that. But that was my interpretation of what my travel would look like. So I did have a couple of visions and stuff like that. It's almost like I didn't want to put it on a vision board. Like, it would almost cheapen it a bit. Like, there was that sort of feeling about it. So I thought about it a lot, definitely. It was a cause of much frustration in terms of, I'm not at that point yet. Like, I really, really, really want to be traveling. And I'm not doing that. It actually did play out even in the work that I was doing. I actually chose to be a courier for a while around Sydney. And so I was driving around Sydney, you know, which is a pretty vast area. So it was actually playing out when I actually looked at reality. It was like, oh, travel's actually already in my life. I actually created a job. You know, they kept hounding me to go and work in the office. It's like, no, I want to be out driving around all the time. Like, I was always this push-pull with them in the office, trying to get me to go back into the office. And it was like, no, I need to be out driving. So that was my version of travel. That's all I could do at that stage. So it was always there. And maybe that's, you know, a point type thing, is if something is really true for you, it's probably already actually in your life.
Maybe
showing
not the form that you think.
Or another, and it's just not the form that you thought it might be in, or you would like it to be in. And as I said before as well, like, when I did go traveling, world traveling, 7 years, but it's actually, I didn't have holiday homes all over the world. I actually all over the world. We ended up house sitting.
Mm.
So do I have
Yes.
holiday homes all over the world? Yeah, pretty much. It does feel like that. I don't pay for them. So it sort of I was actually on the right track, but just played out very differently. And I think that's the part where the law of attraction sort of gets a little bit stuck for me, is like it almost brings in the house. So your mind starts kick in, like, because it's actually not true for you to have that Ferrari, then you've got to get into almost mind mode to actually think about how you're going to get that.
Yes. Yeah.
And this brings up another thing that we've spoken about only the other day, and it's like, if you haven't made a decision and you don't have the willingness to work at something, like if you don't have the vision and the essence of a particular thing that's playing out that you want to bring into reality, if you don't have that essence, like travel was for me, then you have to bring in the ego and create a story around it to create that thing in your life.
Yes.
There has to be that story and the ego involved in that process of creating it, because it's not true for you. So
yeah, you're more making it happen rather than following the true steps in the moment to create it. It's sort of, there is a hustle sort of about it almost.
Yeah, and that's a good word. A lot of people use that. I've got to hustle. I was like, I feel really against that. Like, and I've used it too, but I really reject that word a little bit now, because it's, to me, that indicates that you're trying to get motivated. And I guess that's the difference between motivation and inspiration as well, is that if something is totally true for you, you're actually totally inspired to take steps towards it. And it's up to you whether you take those steps or not, but you do feel inspired to do it. So generally you will do it. Otherwise, you have to find outside motivation. It has to be to make money, save money, lose weight, look better, get more love from people, like whatever it is that you're seeking type thing in the outside world has to be there in that process, because it's actually not true for you.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that the law of attraction, I feel, has brought out a lot of things that are not true for people. Like,
I think ego gets attached to it very much. I think.
Oh, suddenly I can have a house and I can have a Ferrari. I hadn't thought about that before, but shit, why not? Like, if I can create anything, I think I'll have that. Okay.
I think the key point that you made, and definitely what I feel too, is that the key point is that we it's got out of my head. Is that we think we actually know what we want, like it's and it has to be true for you. That's the thing. I was getting a few things mixed up in my head there. Like, it has to be, the actual intention has to be true for you in the first place. So if it's not a true feeling moving through you, it's going to be hard to create it in the outside world. So it is going to look like you're going to have to maybe do all the steps that The Secret has taught you to do. Like, it's kind of thing. So it's not like you can't bring something into reality.
There'll be a lot of effort there, won't there?
We can definitely make things happen in our reality, but it's more if it feels true for you and you're following the moment as it, as the next step comes to you to do, the next action comes through you to do, then it does flow, like, and it will come. It does feel then like, oh, it's magical because it comes to you. It's true. But I think the point that I started to make was around that decision point. Like what you're saying is like, we don't even know what we want. That's the thing. Like, we think we know what we want, but like when we're not tapped into the knowing ourselves as the infinite being, we actually have no idea what we actually truly want. Like we have like a mind-based idea, which is usually where the ego gets involved, and we think it's like, oh, I want a house, or I want even to travel, say, like that could still be a mind-based feeling, because we see pictures around us and we see social media and we see I don't know, like we see other people doing it, say, and we form an idea of what we think that experience is going to bring for us. But some people would hate to travel all the time. Like they would say, oh, I'd love to just be sitting on a beach all the time and doing this. But you might, if that became your reality, like you might actually be really bored of that, or you might not actually enjoy it. Like it's hard to know what you actually, not saying you don't have any idea, obviously, of what we enjoy, but like it's more like we have these big grandiose ideas of what we think success looks like, or what we think having a lot of money will feel like and what we'll be able to do. And
we had that experience. Sorry, just to interject for a moment.
Yeah.
But we actually had that experience. We went to the Cook Islands on the way from the US via the Cook Islands to go to a wedding, a destination wedding for a family member. And it was like so exciting. It's like, oh my God, we're going to spend like a week on the beach on the Cook Islands. Like we booked it all up, stuff like that. Dead set. Like after about 2 days, we were just like, so, okay, well, we're going another 5 days. When's the wedding? When's everyone else turning up? Oh my God. Like, there's only so much snorkeling you can do and kayaking and sunbaking, and it was just a really interesting experience. And it was something that it actually made me change what I was going to do for my 50th birthday. I was going to go to Bora Bora for my 50th because I'd always thought about that's where I was going to have my 50th. And I rethought it and just went, we actually talked about it and I went, you know what? Nah. So we ended up going to Bangkok and having like the world's largest water fight for Songkran, which Sharon was actually at. And it was super fun. So we're actually out like doing crazy shit. So, but yeah, the whole beach idea, we just have now totally changed our viewpoint on. It's like, here's this grandiose. It was obviously somebody else's idea and dream, because it certainly wasn't ours when we got there and had it.
Yes. That's the thing. I think we have like, we think we know what we want, but when we move into that more knowing ourselves as the infinite being that we are, like a lot of those wants actually fall away, which we've spoken about before. Like it's usually only the ego that's wanting all those different experiences, or thinks they're going to come from those things as well. So it almost feels like our desires simplify the more we move into that infinite space. So we may still, it may still feel true for us to have a house, like say that does become a true desire, but only when we're tapping into that moment and it feels true for us. So rather than it being an ego thing that we pick something and think, oh, okay, I'm going to make that my goal, if you like. And so we try and then use the law of attraction principles, which definitely work. Like there is obviously a lot of study and things into the law of attraction and how it works, about how like energy attracts like energy. And even just in our thought processes, it's not even about manifesting physical things too, even just our thought processes. The more that we think about something negative, say, then the more negative energy that we feel around us. Like it's just, that is the law of attraction as well. Like it is how the energy we're putting out is the energy we will get back. And where our focus goes is where our energy goes. So all of those things tie into law of attraction as well. But when we tie it into manifesting physical things, which is what most people will think of when they hear law of attraction, that's where the ego gets involved, and it gets quite tricky then, because like we were just saying, like you don't actually probably truly know what we actually want. So we have to, in my opinion, the more time we spend focused on knowing ourselves as the infinite versus manifesting physical things, like it kind of, that's where the true law of attraction, I think, is going to come into play. So
yeah, I definitely agree. It's almost like a bit of a dead giveaway. If something's not true for you, it takes effort to get it. Whereas if something is actually true for you, you don't even need to make the decision. Did I make the decision to go traveling? No, it was like it was already made for me, and I tuned into that. And to me, that's what happens, is that the decision is actually already made on the infinite level, that it's true for you. And then you tune in to that, if you wish, tune into that energy, and then you take the steps. Like you get given the steps as a result of that. Sort of interesting with the law of attraction, because I feel like what you said was right, was it's actually more to do with on the energetic level type thing, like wherever you are sort of on the vibrational scale, which will go up and down, seemingly go up and down in using human terms. Sometimes you feel quite low, and so you end up seemingly everything that day turns to shit. And then other times you feel sort of more in the flow and more in tune, and everything's flowing and everything seems quite easy.
Yes.
So it's sort of, to me, that like attracts like energy is more to do with that. Like where you're sitting in the vibrational scale, and you will go up and down. Like not everybody stays high all the time. Rather than the outside world, because to me, the law of attraction would imply then, if I'm using it for things, that there is a separation between me and that thing.
Yeah.
So I'm not part of that thing. So that Ferrari is part of me, or the house isn't from me.
Yeah.
It has to be created somehow or another, some other way. So it's almost like it bypasses the whole true manifestation process.
Yes.
It sort of does imply that you have to take steps towards, like you almost have to manufacture steps towards creating that thing in your life. So you might have to work harder to create more money to buy the Ferrari. You might have to enter the lotto more times, or the lottery type thing, on the off chance that you might win it. So there's sort of all these manufactured type steps that the mind is trying to come up with, as like, oh, I wonder how I can get that Ferrari now. Like, actually, that's what I want on my vision
Like
board.
strategy.
And I'm thinking about it, and it's a strategy. Yeah. So that's the thing. If you're coming up with strategies for things, then it's pretty much guaranteed that it's not true for you.
Yeah.
Because in what's true for you, there is no strategy. It's just, it's already yours. You already feel that. It's just a matter of when it comes into your reality. Like, travel was always true for me, and I knew that. I was so 100% aligned with that. I just didn't know when it would change form. Funnily enough, it was already there. And I think that's the other part too, is there is no need for anything else, because if you're actually feeling like something is true for you, it's probably already there, just not in the form that you've identified with. And if you can identify with it, then it will probably change form if you appreciate how you're already doing it. And that's what happened. I was like, suddenly I really enjoyed my career job because I was already traveling, and then it had the ability to change through that appreciation and love for it. And if appreciation and love is the only thing that transforms and changes things, then it is about appreciating the form that it's already in, if that's what you're looking for. So yeah, in terms of the manifestation side of things, where the decision is already made, you don't have to decide that you want a Ferrari. Like, it's already on your path. It's just a matter of when it might show up in reality. But the whole time you would be feeling it. It would be in your bones that that Ferrari feels true for you. So is there a law of attraction? I'm going to argue now through this conversation that it's got nothing to do with the outside things, as it's been perhaps portrayed over the years. It's actually to do with like attracts like energy. And
which I think is essentially what law of attraction is, but I think it's been spun out by a lot of spiritual kind of things to probably in terms of selling to the masses, because it's more appealing to kind of go, well, you can get whatever you want, you know, outside of you. So I think that's where it's kind of gone off track, if you like, and it's been exploited, I think is probably the best word for it, in terms of
commercialization.
You feel like The Secret. So I mean, Rhonda Byrne, that did The Secret, she I mean, she brought out a lot of material around that at the time, like supportive kind of, you know, material for people that went a little bit more in depth than the actual movie. But I just think the whole premise, I mean, I don't know what her intention was behind the movie. Her whole intention may have just been to wake up a whole bunch of people to the fact that there's this whole other world outside of you that maybe you've never really looked at. And so it was very much a beginning step for people. But I think it did set up a lot of people to fail, if you like, because it put into people's head this notion that you could just sit there and visualize something and it will come to you. But, you know, as we've, you know, all of our talks that we've talked about, there's all the different things that get in the way, if you like, on the sort of awakening journey of like how much the ego comes into play with that too. So if you have all these underlying beliefs, that will suddenly start to pop up in the way of you not believing that you'll get that thing that you're putting outside of you. So if it does feel like a very big manifestation, say, so maybe you're trying to manifest a lot of money or a Ferrari, like we've said, and that's like way beyond your current kind of, you know, lifestyle or means that you have at your hand, sort of thing. So if you have a lot of belief around that's kind of quite a fantasy, if you like, then it's probably not going to come into reality, or not without a lot of hard work, if you like, because it just, your energy doesn't line up with that. So I think that's where the law of attraction is actually true. Like the more that you can spend your time knowing yourself as the infinite and not as that outside manifestation, like you said, like that manifestation is actually you. It's an expression of you. So the more you can spend your time focusing inward rather than looking at the outer manifestation that you think you actually want, then maybe you've got a chance of kind of, you know, lining up with it. But I think beyond that, it just feels like it's it lies in fantasy land a little bit. Like that's what I think a lot of the law of attraction feels like to me. And I think that's where a lot of people get stuck for years in that kind of space. Almost feels like wasting energy, like, because there's still that separation, like you said, there's definitely that going on, the separation that manifestation is outside of you, that you're not actually the same energy as that, as that thing that you're seeing outside of you, and that it is just an expression of you. But then I think also too about there's just that it comes from a space of needing or wanting the thing outside of you too. So again, we come back to those, you know, ego characteristics, if you like, that we've talked about before, about security and approval and acknowledgement, appreciation, and I always forget the last one. I don't know what it is.
One day we'll get all 5 rattled off.
but those the things that we usually want outside of us, like, fall into those, like, there's usually some kind of reason we want those things, like we think they're going to give us something. So I'm just thinking of like a sort of a not a close friend of mine, but an associate, I guess, of mine, that talks a lot about wanting to go and do what he wants to do. Like he's quite clear on what this thing is that he thinks that he wants to go and do. But he has this idea in his mind that he has to earn like millions of dollars first before he can go and do that thing. So then he's constantly putting his hopes on winning the lotto, and he's quite serious about it too. Like he's quite serious, like, I've just got to win the lotto first and then I can go and do what I love. And so I keep questioning him, saying, why do you need so much money to go and do what you love? Oh, because I need this much money for my lifestyle. I need this much money to buy a house first, and then I need this much money to do this. And so then when all those things are taken care of, then I can go and do this thing that I love. So I just need to win the lotto. Like, and it's kind of, and I just keep going, well, that's probably never going to happen. So like, it's kind of like you're going to be waiting for a long time. Like, sorry to burst your bubble, but it's kind of probably not lined up for you to, like, how, you know, what's the probabilities of winning lotto? Like, there's so many people that are saying exactly the same thing. They're putting all their hopes on winning lotto. And yes, of course, somebody has to win the lotto. But the probabilities are so, like, you know, ridiculous, the ridiculous odds. So it's just like, why wouldn't you put your energy into actually something that feels true for you in the moment? Or even just, if you know what it is you want to do, just go and start doing that thing. Like, why do you have to wait till you have
why does it take
$1 million? Like, it's just kind of this sense that, but you hear this from so many people, that we think we need all these other things to line up first before we can go and just do the thing that we really want to do. So
I really think this is a topic we need to talk about at some stage. We definitely have some pretty strong viewpoints about the misinformation I feel is out there.
I think so too. Because I think that feeling like you need certain things before you can go and do what you want to do, I think for me fits in a little bit to the law of attraction, because it's still that idea of manifesting something outside of you. And it's usually, when you trace it back, there's a reason that you feel like you want that thing. Like, if it's coming from that want space or a need space, and it's always coming from ego. Like, it's always
education, that's ego.
Whereas when it is a true feeling, as you said, it just feels like the decision's already made, and you're just almost catching up to it in reality. Now the steps just come through you. It feels like, it just feels so true for you, and so you might not know how it's going to unfold, and you probably won't know how it's going to unfold.
And you don't really worry about that either. I think
you don't need to know.
That's the part where it actually gets really easy. It's like, oh, I don't know how this is going to unfold, but I have such a knowing that I don't have to worry about that.
Like, it becomes more fun, I think.
Let it unfold. Like, you actually you're quite willing to take your hands off the wheel at that. I feel at that point.
Well, I think even, say, in your case, like you were saying, the travel feels really true for you. So you might have had some idea in your mind of what you thought that travel was going to look like. You know, like you said, you thought you were going to have holiday houses around the world and this and that, but you probably at no point thought, I'm going to be house sitting, and that's actually going to satisfy all those different things that I wanted to do. But by following you know, by following the moment, and okay, you went through some situations in, you know, like you had like a defining moment, if you like, of something that sort of fell apart, like when you're in Dubai, which kind of pushed you into that lifestyle. But it was almost like, well, your soul's probably lining that whole experience up for you so that you would end up getting into this lifestyle that you probably would never have explored possibly if that didn't happen. So it's like, well, just by staying with the feeling and keep knowing yourself as the infinite, and okay, this is all working out for me, the universe has my back, and you keep following those steps that are true for you, then you end up manifesting these things that are actually in alignment with you, which is fulfilling all of this travel feeling that you've had within you, which was the true desire in the first place.
Yeah, that was the crazy thing. Was like, if you look at that story, we went to Dubai to, you know, save up some money, pay off some credit cards perhaps, and then go traveling. But it all turned to shit, and we walked away with like $300. And then it was sort of like, oh, okay, we either go back home now, or we use house sitting, which funnily enough we actually had done before, but we'd never connected the dots of, oh, you could actually go international traveling with house sitting. We thought it was just, Jodie had just done it to actually save on some rent when we first got together, and she didn't live in Sydney. So it was like, oh, maybe I could just house sit somewhere to be near you. And then that would be it. So we actually never made that. We had been house sitting, not even made the connection of it, which is so strange. And it wasn't until it all turned to shit in Dubai that suddenly we went, oh shit, we really need to save on rent now. Maybe we just go house sitting for like a couple of months and get back on our feet. That was all it was going to be. And it wasn't until months later that we're sitting in France and just went, holy crap, like this is actually our dream lifestyle. And it's got all the elements of stuff that we hadn't even thought that we actually wanted. You know, slow travel,
better,
being able to have pets around us still, and not feeling so isolated, and just like having a purpose to our travel rather than just traveling for the sake of just traveling, which I think I would personally get quite bored with. But having a purpose to go traveling, and, you know, sort of that extra deeper, richer experiences of like, I hate doing tourist things. So now I get to have an experience of the local area and meet locals and do really cool stuff that most tourists never get to do. And I was like, oh, I didn't even know I wanted all that stuff in my travel experiences, but this meets every one of my travel desires now that I dive in deeper, because before it was just a headline of travel. Without thinking, there was actually layers of travel. Like, there's different ways to travel, and I hadn't dived into that. So it enabled me to sort of see the deeper levels of what I thought I wanted. By allowing it to just unfold in a very weird way that you would never have guessed would have brought us around to that. So I think it's just I know I've told that story many times, but I just feel like it really illustrates this point in terms of, you have a general feeling of what you want, but that's it, and you just keep following that feeling.
And all the outside illusions, if you like, they have to crumble in some way, shape, or form for you to actually then, you know yourself as that infinite feeling, to follow it, you know, so to trust it almost. So it is that process too. So I think at the end of the day, the law of attraction is actually true, but it's just been skewed. I think a lot. There's just so much misinformation, like you said, out there around it, and we've turned it into a way of getting what we think we want, versus like actually the true meaning of it, about lining up energetically with who you truly are, and then following that inspired action, which is what Abraham Hicks talk a lot about too, because they're very much in the law of attraction space. If people know that channel that Esther Hicks brings through, and they're definitely always talking about this idea of inspired action. So you can't just sit there, and it's not just sitting there and visualizing something, which is pretty much what The Secret was proposing in my mind. There has to be this inspired action. So yes, that could look like going and sitting in the Ferrari at the car dealership, but if that felt like an inspired action, like there has to be some kind of following the feeling that's moving through you in the moment, that feels true, that matches up with that thing that you're wanting to bring into reality, but only if that is like a true intention. So for you, it's like the travel thing, you know, so it does feel like a true thing, and it's not an outside of you manifestation trying to get something because it's going to satisfy some need or desire.
I wonder how many car dealerships got hammered like during the law of attraction days. I mean, like, here's another bloody person.
Yes.
Take another photo.
I'm not actually interested. I'm not going to buy it.
I'm actually buying. I've got no money, but just take a photo next to it.
Yes. Yeah.
Dear. But it all helps. I also acknowledge
Yeah, definitely.
that they're all steps in the journey
Yeah.
to consciousness. There is never any mistakes to the information that people are exposed to and sort of come up with, and they're all stepping stones to the truth. So it's a big leap to go from living your life to suddenly feeling like you're infinite. So
Yes.
it's yeah, they definitely will help for sure. And I guess that's why a lot of these conversations are probably aimed at people that are already on this journey and have been on it for some time, and perhaps it's not working for them, and perhaps if they're really honest, and perhaps if there's a lot of areas that still could be looked at. And
yeah, I would say that there'd probably be a sense of like, because I know we had this happening as well, is that you've been on the journey for so long and you've done the work. So it's not that you're not showing up and doing the work and looking at the shadows, and you're knowing yourself more and more as the infinite space. You move more and more into that. But I think there does come a point sometimes where you're just like, oh, really? Like, what part am I not getting about this? Like, it's not. Yeah, like we just get caught down little rabbit holes at times that are just, it's all definitely part of our soul journey. We're here to see the limitations that we've put in, in our way. So it is part of our story, like we've talked about before, that we put power into things outside of us, and so situations happen in our story to bring those up so that we see them for what they are. So if you've got caught down the rabbit hole of law of attraction, then it's there for you to see that you've put a lot of power in manifesting maybe outside of you, and maybe seeing that things aren't, you're wanting things outside of you that maybe aren't necessarily true for you. So maybe that's what that's all about for you, is to kind of bring your focus more inside, to learn how to listen to that feeling that's moving through you, like the intuitive voice or the feeling in your body, the energy that wants to move through. Like, they're all, as you said, stepping stones to, I think, to turning your focus more inward rather than outside of us all the time, because that's actually where the true manifestation happens anyway.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, very true. So let us know in the comments your thoughts. Did you go on the law of attraction journey? How did it go for you? Where are you at now with bringing things into your life? Have you realized that you probably don't need as much stuff as you thought you did? Yeah, just what's your thoughts?
Effort as you think either.
Yeah, or didn't take any effort really. But yeah, cool. All right, well, we'll be back tomorrow to talk about something else.
Yes. Yep.
Whatever that might be. Who knows?
Yeah. Thanks for joining us today.
Yes, very cool. And yeah, we'll see you all again tomorrow.
Yep. Bye.
Okay. Don't forget to attract the infinite.